What's up, everyone? I'm Rick Knight. Welcome back to another video here at The Bad Philosopher. So, the watch company, Egard Watch Company, has put out a video in opposition of the video of the commercial that was put out by Procter and Gamble for the Gillette razor, where they spoke about the toxic masculinity of men and the traditional masculinity and how men need to do better, and pretty much being very condescending and speaking to us like if we don't know how to behave, because some men out there who do things that are less desirable, that made them, throw their hat in the ring in the political field and come out with this political message demonizing all men. The funny part about all this is, men know how to behave, whether we behave properly or not. We know how to behave. We know that you cannot rape anyone. We know that you shouldn't harass and sexually harass or sexually assault anyone. But Gillette felt the need to talk down to us and explain to us that we need to do better in the future. The Egard Watch Company put out a video where they were talking about the disparities of men, how 93% of work-related deaths and fatalities are men, how 75% of the people who are homeless are single men, how nearly half of the men who pay child support don't have visitation rights, and quite a few other statistics leading to how we're more likely to commit suicide, go to prison, and different disparities. Now, most of the things they said in the commercial for the watch was actually pretty accurate. If you do your research, you'll see that they were very accurate. It might be off for a percentage or two, based on what year you're looking up, but pretty much they were accurate in what they were saying. I say shame on the Gillette brand for doing something like that, for making a video speaking down to men and pretty much telling us that we need to make changes, because if you film a video or commercial like that and you switch out men for a different group and you talk down to them and tell that particular group what they need to do to improve, right? Imagine if you say black people, hey, listen, black people, this is what you need to do to improve. Hey, listen, Spanish people or Native American people, this is what you need to do to improve. Hey, gay people, this is what you need to do to improve. Indian people and Muslim people and Jewish people and everybody else, women, this is what you need to do to improve. How would that message be perceived? How would people see it? They would not like it very much at all. Nobody likes being talked down to. But when you're a man, you do get talked down to. You are accused of, this toxic masculinity, this concept that is just so ridiculous, right? Toxic masculinity is not toxic. You could be a very masculine guy and be a nice guy, right? You could be, masculine but not like super masculine and be a dick. Plain and simple. This whole masculinity thing is just a little too far. It's just another way to beat up on men that, the feminists came up with, and the gender studies and the sociology studies and all those studies and all those, in academia, all these professors came up with all this nonsense that they're teaching people, and then it goes from the universities, to the students, onto social media, and now you have, people making stupid, silly commercials about, not being masculine, being better men. It's just stupid. It's a stupid thing to place all men in the same category as Harvey Weinstein or Bill Cosby. It's like placing all of one group in the group of the worst kind of people from that particular group. It's not fair. It's not fair to do that to any group. It's not fair. Let's not, put all women in the same group as, let's just say, gold diggers, women who marry men with the intention of just taking all of their money. And they marry them not because they love the guy, not for anything like that. They married him because he has a lot of money and they want to get their hands on it. And when the money dries up, she is gone, right? Or he passes away and she gets to get half of the money, or if not most of it, right? But we don't say all women do that, right? That's not all women, right? What about women who have lied and said they were sexually assaulted and it turns out that they weren't, right? They weren't sexually assaulted. We don't put all women who make a claim to be sexually assaulted into that category, right? We only put the women who it's proven that she lied. The women who's proven that she's telling the truth, we feel bad for her and we want the man to go to prison and we don't respect that man. And then the women that are in between, that we just don't know if there's no evidence to support what she's saying, but we want to, we can't say she's lying. We want to believe her, but we just don't have the evidence, and unfortunately, we can't put anyone in prison behind it, and it's just one of those cases that it just is what it is. We feel bad, but you have to have evidence, and that's it. But either way, we don't place all women into those groups, right? We don't do that, right? We don't place all gay people into one group. We don't say that, oh yeah, all the gay, I mean, maybe amongst our friends we talk about things like that, but that's just between like you and I or something, or two guys hanging out or two women hanging out talking about how shitty men are. Okay, fine. Women they get together and they bash men. Okay, fine. No big deal. You know what I mean? People do that. It's okay, but you don't make commercials bashing handicapped people, or commercials bashing gay people or women or anyone, right, as an entire group. And that's what this commercial did. It kind of vilified all men and spoke down to us and made us look like the entire human race, all the men in the human race are just no good, right? We're all terrible people. And I just want to ask the people who made this commercial and who okayed and greenlighted this whole commercial, I want to ask them, what about your dad? What about your husband, your brother, your sons? How are they? Are they raping anyone? Are they mistreating women? Are they mistreating anyone? What about the men in your life? What about, men that you legitimately care about, good friends of yours, your brother-in-law, your nephew, your cousins, all the men that that are really good people and that you really care for? Are they running around mistreating women and raping people, or is it only the men you don't know? Is it only those men and not these men, right? Not saying the men on the wall, but the men in your life, right? Is it not your men, but it's those men over there, right? Which men? How about the owners of Gillette and the owners of Procter and Gamble? Are you guys running around raping anyone? Are you mistreating women? How about the women who work for your company? Are you paying them right? Or are you paying them low wages purposely because you're women? I don't want to get into the wage gap that's been debunked constantly. Constantly this has been debunked, and it's still a strong talking point for feminism and people on the left about this nonsense gender gap. But since Procter and Gamble and Gillette, since they're on this, social justice warrior nonsense, well, then we're going to talk about the wage gap, which is a social justice warrior nonsense. It's one of their nonsensical concepts. So why don't we look into Procter & Gamble to make sure that they're paying their women the same that they're paying their men, to make sure they're not breaking any liberal rules, right? Because you're talking down on us about a liberal rule about, oh, yeah, you're a man, you're toxic masculinity, and you need to make changes. Well, why don't we check your books and see what you're doing that is in line with toxic masculinity? Let's check that out. How do you treat the women who are around you in your life? How do you treat the women that work for you? So this is just nonsense. This was really stupid. It was a dumb idea for Procter & Gamble, for Gillette. It really was. It made you look stupid, silly. It made you look weak. Maybe you did it for publicity. Maybe you was just trying to jump on the bandwagon. Maybe you was just looking for another angle. Maybe, get a little attention. And with a little attention, maybe you could get some views up, and you can get some action. Maybe people will run out and buy your razors or something. I don't know what you're thinking, but there's so many companies out there that are your competitors when it comes to razors. And that's where people are going to, a lot of people are going to go to your competitors. They're not going to want to buy any products from you. For me, I don't care because I use an electric razor. So it's that simple to just use the electric razor. I know I haven't shaved in a couple days, but I don't need to shave that often because the facial hair for me just doesn't really grow in that fast. So I don't need Gillette for absolutely anything at all. So you're just another company I put on the list that I just I won't buy anything from. I'm not really big on protesting, but I just won't buy anything from your company ever again, and that's it. But Egard Watch Company. They stepped in, and they probably saw an opportunity as well to try to, gain a little traction and make a little name for themselves. But I'm glad they did, and I'm glad that they showed the other side of men. They showed the men that care about their family, the men who care about the women in their life, the men who care about their children. They showed an image of a military, of a serviceman with his child, and they showed a fireman, and they showed construction workers, and they showed people that our masculinity is the reason the country's safe, the reason where you can get pulled out of a burning building, and the reason you have a building in the first place to live in or work in is because of our masculinity. And then they also show the disparities that between us with men. So it was a good commercial, and I'm not going to challenge the motives behind why the watch company made that. I mean, I'm pretty sure they, maybe they do believe in, in our cause, and probably because they wanted to get a little attention, being that the Gillette commercial went viral. So, but there you have it. Procter & Gamble, that was really stupid of you. It just wasn't a smart thing to do. You should have left that alone. But too late now, and either you'll profit off of it, which I thought profit was a no-no to the left. I thought everything was supposed to be shared, or you won't profit off of it, and that's it. So that's all I got for this video. I just wanted to throw that out there, throw out my 2 cents. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. I'll see you guys in the next video. Starting next week, I'm completely redoing everything, the entire studio. I have more equipment coming. Starting next week, once all my mics and everything get here, my cameras, I'm going to start doing interviews and having different guests over and different things like that. So the show is definitely going to get a lot more interesting going into the future. And I'll see you guys in the next video.